Hey, all, we have a wonderful show planned for you today. As you can see, we have a visitor. My brother is here with us for this show. He's usually only with us on most live streams, but we have a special bottle to review today, and I can't even believe it happened. But
Me either.
I know it. I'll introduce it, Ken, and you can take it from there because I really don't know much about it. I'm sure both of you know way more about this bottle than I've ever dreamed of knowing. I don't know much about it other than it's like a monster unicorn bottle. That's all I know.
You're right.
Yeah. We're very fortunate. Trenton, you know, he got up his magic and he worked this out. But on our last live stream, the February live stream was Kent's birthday, which was on the 26th of February. And we were able to gift him this bottle due to Trenton's diligence and his graciousness, but we were able to give Kent a Booker's Rye.
Yeah, I can say, you know, I've been collecting whiskey for a while to drink. There's not too many unopened, but I've been collecting bottles for a long time.
Right.
And these guys have known for a long time if you know, everybody's got their one bottle that they wish they had.
Yeah.
Whether it be a Thomas Handy or a this or a that, whatever. But this is the bottle that I've always wanted to have.
Right.
And didn't really expect it to ever happen.
Yeah.
But it's the one bottle that I've always said I wish I could get my hands on it.
Right.
And you guys surprised me. It was pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think your jaw dropped to the ground.
It did.
Because I was standing right next to you when he gave you that bottle. It was a fun time.
One thing I said that night is I wanted to open that with these guys, not only because they gave it to me, but because they enjoy this kind of thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we would have never had a sip of this at any time imaginable unless Kent would have brought it down here for us to share as well. So thank you for that, for bringing it down. Yeah. It was a great time had by all. Booker's Rye, guys, I really don't know much about it. I just know that it's one of those...
Trent, you might know more details than I do too, but the main things to know is Booker started this project as an experiment in 2003. He passed away in 2004, so he never got to see it finish. His son bottled it in 2016. The only rye Booker's ever did.
13 years,
7
1 month and 12 days, I think.
Is it? Is that
really?
I think.
Wow. I had
1 month, 12 days. There you go.
I know nothing about this. That's incredible. 13 years. Wow.
And I was trying to find, me and Trent were kind of looking into it before we started doing this, trying to figure out a mash bill, and I don't think there really is a set mash bill. They had a couple ideas.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he just jotted it down in a notebook somewhere and it got lost in the shuffle during everything. I texted a buddy of mine that has several connections in the industry to see if we could pinpoint what exactly this mash bill is for sure, and nobody knows.
I honestly really don't think Jim Beam knows, because they looking at it, they said they come up with, if you're looking at it and reading about it, they found notes on an experimental rye that was over 80% and one that was over 70%, but they don't know which one to use.
So over 70 or 80% rye grain in the mash bill.
And so all they can honestly say is they know it's over 70. Their typical is 51% rye is their typical Jim Beam rye.
Okay, so very low rye.
But so they list it as 70% rye and 30% corn and malted barley. They don't even break that down.
So they don't have no breakdown.
So I really don't think they have exact details.
I'd be very surprised. Either that or they're keeping it close to their chest.
That could be too.
Yeah, I could see that. There's a very sentimental, cool story behind that.
So. They could play stupid on that one.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine.
Any idea from you guys how many of these were produced?
It actually says the bottle number on here. This is bottle 6300. So at least that many.
A few.
The only thing I saw, Trenton, is there was 100 barrels that were barreled.
Okay.
But at the time that they pulled them, a lot of them were empty, or close to empty by the time they, for whatever reason.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly how many.
Right.
I didn't get to an exact number of how many bottles were were put together. I
All
don't
right.
know.
At least 6,300. This came out in 2016, and you say it was what?
300 was MSRP.
300 at MSRP, which
In 2016.
that what is that? Almost
That's-
8 years ago.
Yeah,
No, that's a price tag back then.
For a rye. And I was talking with one of
Yes.
the guys I know who owns a local store, and I asked him about this when I first started going there, and he said that he did see these. They were at the store when they came out, but they just sat because of their price point and also the fact that
imagine.
it's a rye. So
Yep.
Yeah,
I had just
can see that.
graduated high school then, and I wish I was of drinking age then.
or had a fake ID or
Or
something.
had a fake ID or something. But the problem is I still couldn't pass as 21. I get carded all the time,
No,
and people
I-
look at me like,
right.
this guy kind of seems like
Yeah.
he's definitely not 21.
Caleb's the same way too. That's why
Yeah.
Caleb's here with us tonight, my son, and that's why he keeps a beard because he looks about 12 without one.
At least he can grow a beard. This is about how good I get. I've just stopped trying. So, well, do you want to do the honors?
Yeah, Kent, you're gonna
I'm
have to.
super
You're
excited.
gonna have to do the honors. We're gonna open this bad boy.
This is
we're gonna try it out.
I was sending my wife memes of all excited dancing when I was heading over this way because this is pretty exciting for me.
Yeah, it is for me too. It's a special bottle, very special.
There's there's a lot of cool bottles that we've been able to try
Absolutely,
And,
very fortunate.
but to me it's the top of the list for me so far of something that I've had the opportunity to try.
There's like you were talking about like the one bottle that everybody has. I'd be curious of everybody else's if they have some in the
Yeah,
comments.
because they
Please, if you've ever tasted it.
Man, that wax got shredded.
it shattered, but also stuck, and I don't know if you saw that. There's big
Yeah, I
strings
did.
coming
Saw that
back.
in the lighting.
Wow.
Yeah, Jim
let it
Beam
go.
isn't
It's
necessarily known for their wax, especially on Knob Creek. The wax
That
on
is
Knob
true.
Creek is
I'm
just
making
pitiful.
That
oh
is
my
true.
gosh, yeah.
That is true.
I'm making a mess back here.
It's all right. Don't worry about that.
And I'm getting really sticky with this stuff.
This is all over the place.
Yeah, it's
It came off
everywhere.
in pretty big chunks too. But that's tough.
But hey, we're gonna drink it, so
Wow.
it doesn't have to be pretty, right?
No, it does not. It just
Kent-
has to pour nicely.
Kent was sitting over here talking about tasty notes, and I don't want to say you worked it up quite a bit, but my expectations for this are pretty high. This is 136 proof, 137 proof.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
136.2.
It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
I'm glad I had just a tiny sip or two before we started the show. Trent brought over a couple of other little rye whiskeys there, a couple other bottles to
Yeah.
try, and I had a couple sips. So I'm thankful
Well,
for that.
I'll tell you, we're not doing tiny pours. We're gonna do a
Okay.
decent one. And
Do I get to pour my own, or?
after the show, after the show, we'll sit and talk about it.
All right.
I do want. Do you have one more glass over there?
I do, yeah. I gave Caleb his one. He has one.
Is this one?
Okay.
think
I want
that's
to make sure he gets a
I
chance.
made sure he had one out there too.
I do wish that they would come out with another one of these. Just an experiment.
Sure. Sure.
But I could also see this being a one-time thing too, where since they don't know the mash bill, they don't want to kind of come out with a version 2, like, hate to call out Bardstown, but with their Chateau, this is weird.
I don't,
With
what's
their,
that?
with their Chateau Daily Baud.
Yeah, the second
The
round.
second one was just nothing compared to the first. So I
Right.
can respect them too for drinking this and being like, wow. We were actually at Wild Turkey with Bruce doing a pick. And he said this was one of the best ryes he's ever had. And this consistently
I remember.
this
you said that.
consistently makes the top lists of ryes that have ever been made. So I got my
Well, you
missus
guys,
dark.
both of you are the rye fans, so this is going to be a special treat for the both of you, including myself and Caleb. But for both of you guys, this is your right up your alley.
I've read some things. Just since this bottle popped up, I've kind of flipped around.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And actually, what's the guy's name from ADHD?
Matt.
Matt. If you get a chance, watch his review. It was pretty comical, man. If you happen to see this video, I enjoyed that review.
Absolutely.
But he was going nuts about it.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of got me hyped up even a little
Yeah.
more.
This
So-
is just super
I can
dark.
hardly smell it.
What? Kurt wanted to open this before the video and let it air out and stuff, but I was
You
like,
know how
no,
I am?
we're gonna
Hey.
it's gonna be an effect. We're
I
gonna have
know.
it come out of the box and it's still wax.
I
And everything.
try. You all know how I am. I try.
So this is a fresh crack. you know. But
I'm only joking
I'll
about
tell you, on the nose, you could definitely tell it's a high proof.
oh yeah,
You got a little
There's
bit
no
of
doubt about that.
alcohol in the nostrils, that's for sure. But
It'll burn a little up there.
there's a
But
very
man, does that smell
beautiful
good.
maple note. There's a barrel char in there that's just to die for, honestly.
Well, I would assume, and I'm hoping, without being overpowering, I'm hoping that there's a good oak presence in there being 13 years old.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I think if it's balanced enough, a good oak note with some sweetness and the rye spice
yeah.
all just
I love
is a great mix.
I do love that too.
there is just absolutely nothing wrong with the nose. I don't know what I'm getting because it's very complex.
It's very complex, very rich. I can absolutely say that. I think I'm getting some herbal notes there too, along with the maple.
Yeah.
Maple's kind of up front
There-
with that
oh,
barrel
yeah.
char,
There's some herbal in
but
there.
I'm getting a
Yeah.
few little herbal notes in there as well.
Kind of reminds me of maybe a like a spearmint type of nose too, just a tad. So we were getting that on the what was that was this the one
overall?
we were getting the mint on there? We just opened this the other day or today
Definitely
actually.
some
It's
heavy, heavy mint on that one.
I get a little bit of mint on the nose there. I don't really want to wait any longer.
No, go ahead, dude. Go ahead. We could do this for a while.
Oh my god. I want to use that as mouthwash.
Wow.
Don't ruin the experience, Trent. Okay. Make me
I
spit up.
I couldn't.
That's going to take a second to get used to. You all know the guy on this side is the guy with the super high proof, a little bit.
Are you getting
Going to
burned
take a
under
couple
your tongue?
sips for me.
I'm getting burned everywhere. In
The
my body right now.
underside of
Yeah.
my tongue is,
It's incredible.
Burning.
I mean,
but in a
I
good,
will say
in a
this:
really great way.
it's the finish is just just going on and on and on forever.
I probably finished it
I wanna-
45 seconds ago and it's still in there.
I swear, yeah. And I'm going to take another sip before I really get into my comments on any kind of the tasting.
Yeah, I was too excited. I didn't really concentrate too
I
much.
know. Plus the heat got me a little bit on that first sip.
Oh, it's hot.
So
It's hot. There's no denying that.
It's almost like making me choke up a little bit.
is there an ice cube somewhere I can put this on?
No, not allowed. Not that I know exactly what this is like, but it honestly feels like it has the consistency of like a motor oil.
Oh, it's
Like it's
heavy.
super thick.
Yeah.
Definitely oily.
Wow.
Yeah.
Super oily, super viscous. That's
There,
for sure.
there is a nice oak presence in there for sure.
Yeah, and Trenton, I know you and I vary just a tad on
front.
oak.
The oak's up front.
But
I get it on the back too.
Really?
Still quite a bit.
I
I
love
get
a rich
oak up
oak
front.
note. I love a rich oak note.
The oak for me is up front. Then it transfers to dark fruits more in the back end to me.
That oily you're talking about, to me, it's almost like mink oil on leather.
I don't know what mink oil is.
Well, that's kind of a good analogy too, because there's some leather notes in
yeah.
there too,
Yeah.
and from the age, and some oiled up leather. that's not a bad analogy.
I still get a little bit of that maple in there though too.
Absolutely.
Citrus. You get any
There
citrus?
is
I get
a little bit of
citrus.
So much.
Yeah.
So much going on in this sip. This is one that would take a few hours of a video to really try to encompass everything about this whiskey.
We can do a whole live just drinking that.
No question about it.
Just polish off the whole thing.
Just keep going back to it and checking it out. I mean, honestly,
Oh my
it's,
gosh.
it's
Yeah.
just
I
it's
get
an
a lot of
incredible
orange
sip.
and lemon.
Yeah. It's almost a little bit like a what do you call it? A pith? Like the outside of a lemon,
Yeah, no, it's actually
the rind or whatever.
the inside. After you peel it, the white part is the
Oh.
pith, and that can be a tiny bit on the
I wouldn't know.
bitter side.
Oh yeah, that's right. When we say citrus, not really eating fruits or vegetables, do you
No, because I can juice an orange and drink it.
but you're not going to eat an orange wedge.
No.
Interesting.
No.
You're fast.
So I know the citrus vibe that you're talking about.
Yeah, sure.
100%. I just don't eat it.
Yeah,
I drink it.
It's toasty too.
yeah. I'm with Kent. Rich oak note is now becoming more front and center. Follows suit with that hint of maple. Caleb's leather notes in there. The dark fruits are in there. It just
Citrus,
it
the
just-
herbal you were talking. There's
it's
so
just-
many
it's
things.
just
So many things.
many.
It's like the infinity bottle of the best ryes you've ever had. Like a Willet, the Michter's Toasted.
Throw it all in.
I mean,
there.
really.
That's really not far off the beaten path.
That's something you guys should
It's
do.
the best.
You should split your ryes and bourbons for infinity barrels.
I think we do. You do. You have a rye.
I've got one.
infinity
Oh, you
bottle
do
right there,
them
yeah.
separate?
That Jack Daniels 2020, I think that limited's a rye.
Okay.
A rye one infinity bottle.
I see. I haven't done that at the house. It's just all in one, but probably be a good idea to keep them separate.
I like still feel it going
Oh, yeah.
down the
Oh, yeah.
esophagus.
Oh yeah,
That's
there's no question.
I've
insane.
waited to take another sip to see just how long it lasts.
I got a question
Yeah.
for you guys. I mean, do you like the aromas better than the sip, or do you
No.
like the sip better than the aromas?
Both?
Okay, that's fine. For me right now, Wes, and I'm in love with just smelling it.
No, it's
Yeah,
delicious.
wow.
It's just
That
I'm
would,
in love with that. With the
I'm
aromas.
probably flip flopped on that
Wow. Amazing.
because I'll bet you're that way just because typically you're not the rye guy.
Sure,
You know.
sure.
But it's hard to knock that one. You might be
Yeah.
a rye guy if they all tasted like that.
Well, sure, of course.
If this was the last bottle that I was ever able to drink, or if I had to pick one, I know we've done a video on that before, like on an island. You know, what's the last thing that you drink?
That's amazing.
And I mean, go figure. This is like beyond a unicorn at this point. It's almost impossible.
Right.
I was honestly a little bit nervous about it because
So was I.
I've thought about it for years, and I know you have too. And I've thought about this bottle for a long time.
Yeah.
And I really, I was probably 2014 or 15 is when I really started grabbing a few bottles here and there. But I wasn't knowledgeable enough to even know this came about in 16, you know.
Yeah.
But I've thought about it for a long, long time, and I was kind of worried that I hope I'm not disappointed. I'm hoping it's not,
Right.
you know, it's 13 years. Hope it's not bitter oak and, you know, all this
Sure.
kind of thing.
Sure.
But this thing, man, did it not disappoint.
It's impressive. It's definitely
it's
impressive. It
One of the better pours I've
on a
had
bourbon
in a long,
level?
long, long time,
on a bourbon level.
if not ever.
For you
it's right
guys?
up there.
I was fortunate enough to get Trenton allowed me to have the BTAC bottle this year from Harry because we only get one, and I chose Eagle Rare. You know,
Yeah,
so the
17,
17 year.
17, yeah.
It's on that same path. It's on
Yeah.
that. It's on the same that rich. Remember the oak that was in there
Yeah.
and stuff. We do have a video on that too if
Yeah.
you want to see it, but.
I'll try and tag it somewhere.
You'll try. But it for a rye whiskey to compare with me and my brain, it's on that same path with that beautiful rich oak and then some of the sweet notes.
I will
and
say
some of the other
yours
earthy
is one of
notes.
the higher proof Eagles Rare 17s, if I remember right. What was your proof on it? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Because I think you were over 100, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was.
Which the ones I've had in the past, I've never owned one, but the taste that I've had in the past were all in the 90s.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know.
And
Okay, well now I gotta look.
Killing them.
and
I
one
wouldn't
thing
have even known that unless you said it.
One thing I said, in Traverse City, Michigan, there's a great 101, a great place called Low Bar, underneath a kind of a upscale bar food kind of place. There's a speakeasy under there, which is fantastic. If you get a chance to go to Low Bar, go. Great place. But they happen to have 3 of the BTACs that I hadn't tried at the time, and they had, if you buy 3 pours, it was half off. So I lined all 3 of them up, you know. And the one thing I said about the Eagle Rare 17 is it had phenomenal flavors, but at the lower proof, I'm like, you could have poured me a pint of that.
Yeah.
You know, I could just sit there and drink away. It was so easy to drink.
Right. It's a beautiful sip, and so is this one. But it's a rye, and
It's
you can tell it's
a rye. It's high proof. There's a
Yeah.
lot more bite.
I'm into my 4th or 5th sip, and I'm just now, the palate is just now being comfortable with that high proof for me.
I'll admit that first one was a little hot.
Well, it is, and even
I'll admit that.
I don't know how long we've been talking, but like even just the last 10 minutes or so, as we've been
Yeah.
chatting about stuff, it's opened up even better. And this is
It will.
This is the first time it's been opened in 8 years.
Yeah, you pull
So
that out
imagine that
again.
is in a week.
You pull that out again in a few months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you only imagine?
Well, I would like to.
Get another one.
Well, I'd like to get a case. Can you hook me up with a case? See what you can do, will you?
Kent wants a back. Kent wants a backup.
A case of Booker's Rye, a car. You know.
But I would like to, like you typically prefer to do. My next time I pour this, I will probably pour it, go upstairs, do some things, come back hour later,
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yep.
But I can't knock one bit
No,
the fresh crack.
it's impressive.
Oh yeah.
Not
It's
one bit.
impressive, and it's super
Not one bit.
complex. There's a million notes in there if you really sat down and spent some time with the whiskey.
And I think
it's
this
amazing.
might be a segue into good conversation, right? Because this came out 8 years ago. You can't find them anymore. These command a pretty decent secondary value.
Sure.
So if you're, like in your case, you've been collecting since about the time this came out. You've been trying to find one for a long time. So if we talk a lot about trying to find the best price on bottles and stuff that came out 8, 10, 12, 15 years ago, whatever the case may be, if you have your eyes set on something and if you have the opportunity to buy something you've been wanting for nearly a decade and you think it's a good deal,
Yeah.
grab it, you know?
Yeah.
And
That's
everybody's got a different level of what that
Yeah.
good deal is.
Yeah.
It's a
Everybody's
special
got their
occasion bottle.
comfort level. Like
It
I'll
is.
say, if
It
I'm
is.
not mistaken, I think this thing's anywhere from around the 1,500 mark to $3,000 mark, depending on where you see it.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that
Yeah.
ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing no $3,000 on any bottle.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
But after tasting it and knowing the rarity and knowing the, it's an amazing unicorn.
Yeah. Collectability. It goes
Collectability, all that
on
kind
and
of
on
stuff.
and on.
Knowing that it backs up the hype,
Oh, yeah.
I would pay a good buck on it.
Yeah.
I would.
But I know you, and you're a lot like me. You'll have that for a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It'll be in a corner somewhere, and every once in a while on a special occasion
Yeah.
or something like that, you'll sit down for an hour or so.
Yeah, it'll take me 2-3
It'll last-
years probably to
last
empty
a while.
that.
Yeah.
And the memories and the experience kind of, and I say this tongue in cheek because it's not for everybody.
Right.
Not everybody wants to pay an exorbitant amount of money for a bottle of whiskey, and that's okay. You do you. Don't ever stop doing you. That's A-okay. But there's been a few bottles that I've had personally that were a bit pricey, and I love them. And it took me 3 years or so to actually finish them, and I will finish it eventually. And I keep the empty bottles. I can't just be for memory.
Yeah.
But they're to me, they were worth every penny for the memories and the experiences that I was able to share with that bottle. And this I'm sure for you will be
Yeah,
the same.
absolutely. And it's already a good memory. Just you guys gave it to me.
Yeah.
We opened it together. Caleb's here to enjoy it getting cracked. He's heard me talk about it for a long time. And you can look at it a bunch of different ways. If somebody pays $1,000 for this, let's just say,
Right.
and wants to break it open on Christmas night with their whole family and drain it, but everybody had a great time and they had great memories of that night.
That's what it's all about.
Fantastic.
That's your choice. That's you're the customer.
Yeah,
You're the
and
consumer.
but not $3,000, not $2,000, but several $100s. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
In a heartbeat if I found it for that. In
Guys,
a heartbeat.
I honestly get a lot of messages via Instagram and Facebook about pricing. And people pay more than what you and I have the luxury of paying because of our channel and our relationship with Harry, right?
Yeah.
But I always confirm the same thing with any of those folks that ask me. You're the consumer. Make it special. Make that bottle an experience and a special time, and you won't regret it. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
Now,
And
I do advocate patience. So don't just run out there and buy a Blanton's for $300.
Well,
Don't do that because you will find
that's
it.
a little different than
It's
this.
still
though.
different than this. This is a
It's a
unicorn.
one-time deal,
This is an
you know,
amazing unicorn
it's-
bottle, but to bring it all
yeah.
back home again.
But some of those yearly
Right.
releases,
Right.
if you have a little bit of patience,
That's right.
9 times out of 10,
That's right.
if you put the work in and have some patience, you'll find it. At a decent price.
Trent and I wouldn't have been actively going out to get this bottle if it wasn't Kent's birthday and it was a special occasion.
And honestly, I say I'd pay several $100s in a heartbeat. There is maybe 2 or 3 bottles that I could come up with that I would do that with. Mm-hmm. There's not many. I have definitely tapered down over the years.
Yeah.
I'm a little picky about what I spend good money on. But now, after the hype of myself, thinking about it for so long, and then now tasting it, and the rarity of it and all that kind of stuff, when this one gets about right here, I may try to find another one. It's just that good.
Well,
it's just that good.
There you go. There you go.
And I appreciate you too for allowing this to be a thing. So it's a pretty cool.
Well, we're thankful that
experience.
You came over to
Pretty
share
cool
it with
experience.
us for a first open. So that's a good special time that I'll remember for sure.
We were at a speakeasy somewhere when we were doing a barrel pick, and they had, they had an option to get a pour of this, but it was $300 for an ounce and a half.
Ooh.
And I was like, we're gonna pass on
Gonna
that.
have to wait.
Yeah.
That's
But
a bit much, but
thanks for coming down and letting us try it out. I have, I think, one more bottle on my list that I'd like to try at some point, and I don't know what comes after that, but this was a cool experience.
Yeah.
I would definitely try and find another one of these.
yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
If you're out there thinking about the same thing with this bottle like I have been for a long time, and you have a price point you can afford and you're comfortable with, get it, because this bottle 100% does not disappoint.
No.
The hype at all.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. All right, that's all we have for you today. Not only was it special for myself, Kent, Trenton, and Caleb being with us here tonight, we thank you for joining us. This has kind of just been this really kind of wasn't quite a bottle review type video, but we wanted to share this moment with all you out there and thank you for joining us. Thank you for actually coming in our basement, pulling up a seat here at this bar and joining us here in this occasion. It's very special. So thank you to all of you. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly and see you next time right down here with Trent and I. Maybe Kent, maybe Caleb. You just
Who
never
knows?
know. All right. See you next time right down here with Trent and I in a good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.
I finished all of it. I'm gonna be lit.